Great. Good evening and welcome to the meeting of the Pioneer Valley Regional School District School Committee. Today is Thursday, May 9th, 2024. It is 6:05 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. This meeting is taking place at the Pioneer Valley Regional School Library and online at BNC TV. And we also have a member who is remote on Google Meet. Since we do have a remote member, we'll do a roll call attendance. So start us off.
Melissa Gary, present.
Jennifer Coffin here.
Karen O'Neill here.
Gretchen Kelton, present.
Go ahead, Steve.
Stephen Martin, present.
And Raina Dastu, present. All right, thank you. And citizens' comments, I don't see any. So moving on to our introduction of our new administrator. Welcome, Sarah Bernardston, our new BES principal to be.
Welcome, Sarah. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
We are delighted. I thought of you on what should be Northfield's annual celebratory day, the day the Creamy opened.
Yes, yes.
Because our new principal lives next door.
Yes,
Oh.
it's a
To
big
the
celebration, and people often say to me, "Oh, looks like you had another party last night."
So, Sarah, please introduce yourself. Tell us just a bit about, why now, why BES, and then folks might have some questions for you.
Okay, well, my name is Sarah Bernardston. I'm really excited to be the new principal at Bernardston Elementary School. I think the why here, why now is such a great question. Why here? The here is that I live here in the community. Okay, how's that?
Great.
Better? I live here in the community, and I really want to continue my school leadership career in a place where I live. And so the opportunity to interact with students and their families and colleagues, both at school and in my day-to-day and in my comings and goings in the community, is really exciting to me. And the opportunity to be part of decision-making that has a very positive impact on the community in which I live, understanding that I don't live directly in Bernardston, but right next door in Northfield, and Northfield Elementary and Bernardston Elementary and the town of Leiden are all, educating our children together to eventually have them land right here. So I'm excited to have that impact. And I think the why now is that I've been an elementary school principal for 10 years, and I've really enjoyed my time at Hillcrest Elementary School. Hillcrest is a pre-K to 1 school, and I've learned a lot about school leadership, and I'd like to extend my reach beyond first grade. And so being at a school that's pre-K to 6 is a wonderful opportunity to do so and to interact with students and their families throughout that really broad developmental span. The other piece of why now is that on a personal level, I'm at a point where I have a little more time and space to learn a new role and become part of a different professional community. My children are moderately launched. I have a child who is, off on his own in the work world, graduated from college last year, and I have a second child who graduated from high school last year and is in college. So, I have that time that is necessary when you're taking on a new role to really get to know people and learn some new things.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome. So, yeah, we're very happy to have you, and
Thank
we're
you.
excited. We'll be excited to hear more as your year progresses. So.
It's been a very warm welcome at Bernardston Elementary. I've really felt embraced by the school faculty who I've spent time with, and the current principal, Cindy, has been amazing in, keeping me in the loop and including me in important things. So I'm grateful for that.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Do you all have any questions for me?
Not yet.
Yeah, I'm sure you will come, September 1st.
Sarah, thank you for coming in. It's much appreciated, and we look forward to having you visit school committee at another meeting.
Great. I look forward to being here.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Excellent. All right. right, so moving on to the minutes of April 25th.
So I have some. On page 2, under C, when, under the administrator salaries, when Michelle gave her prepared statement, I would like the minutes to also reflect that Raina provided some data that answered some of the questions about the process and the dates that the superintendent was evaluated and that the process had been followed. So the notes share the concerns, but the notes don't reflect the answer to those concerns. And so I don't know whether, if Raina has those dates necessarily that we went over the process, or if that's something you could listen to the meeting again and then add. But I just would like something to be reflected in there, that there was a response to the concerns.
I agree with that
Yeah.
sentiment.
Absolutely.
In number 1, in that same section C, the second motion, it's just Martin without the G. That's it. That's all I have.
I would like to add that among those present was Annie Scanlon Amy. She was introduced at that meeting.
Yeah, it's number 4 here.
Right, but she's not listed as someone who was at the meeting up above. Should she be?
up top, too.
Yep.
Okay,
Also present.
yep, got it.
Mhm.
Yes, that's 2, yeah, okay.
I would like to move that we accept these minutes with the amendments that were suggested.
Second.
All right, any, I guess, no other discussion? Let's go ahead with the voting.
Melissa Gary, yes?
Jennifer Coffin, yes.
Karen O'Neill, yes.
Gretchen Kelton, yes.
And Raina Dastu, yes, that passes unanimously. All right, thank you. And moving on to our reports. Director of Finance, Mr. Burns.
Yeah, this is great. I feel like I'm back to playing baseball, getting moved up in the lineup. Leadoff hitter now.
Yeah.
Finally, my speed is being recognized. I appreciate that. Like the Ricky Henderson of school committee meetings. So I'd like to provide a piece of good news prior to the report, which will also have good news. But we recently received notice from DESE that we were awarded an additional $71,000 of what is essentially circuit breaker money used in a similar fashion. But out-of-district placements went up by a lot across the state. And the process led to these new pots of money. There are 3 pots of money. But the best pot of money is the one that I'm referring to, the $71,000, because it can be used for the same expenses as circuit breaker and needs to be used by the end of the year. But it doesn't affect your future circuit breaker allocation. So some of the money is, essentially borrowing from next year. This money is just an additional $71,000. And I think it really is necessary to thank our Director of Student Services, Nancy Parlaclosh, because she did that work to get the extra money. And, just I think another great example of administrative competency leading to more resources for our district. So that's good.
Nice.
Jordan, just a question. You said it needs to be spent by the end of the year. Is that the end of this fiscal year?
Yep,
Or the end of the calendar
by
year?
6/30/2024.
Okay.
But,
I'm sure you have a few ideas.
well,
Or maybe Patricia does.
I think spending money on special education will not be hard to find $71,000 because there's definitely increasing costs across the state, and that's why the legislators and the governor put in the extra money to the budget. So that's wonderful. So yeah, on to the expenditure report. So obviously we're getting towards the end of the year and everything's in good shape. There are a couple of negative balances that we'll remedy. You know, I think the largest thing that bears mentioning is we at the recommendation of our public safety partners have wanted to ensure that we had a sufficient stock of two-way radios at NES, and that Cheryl George is a great colleague and extremely persistent. So she reminded me many times that we had yet to do that, and now we have taken care of that. And thank you to Cheryl for, in all seriousness, keeping me on top of that. So now we have a greater ability to make sure people can communicate on a day-to-day basis, or in the event of any, emergency situation. So that's wonderful. But overall, in terms of the spending, I expect that we will have a small budget surplus, about $200,000 or 1.4% of the total budget. So we're in good shape. It's pretty late in the year. I don't think that there'll be any surprises. You can never say never, but we're well positioned even if there are, especially with that additional $71,000 to withstand any surprises. The revenue report is similarly in good shape. We've gone through 83.33% of the year and received 81.13% of the revenues. Those other revenues, almost all of them are guaranteed type of revenues from the state, and I anticipate we'll have a very small surplus. But the overall situation is, even after all the reducing the assessments and adjusting the budget, it looks like everything's going to be in good shape, and so it's nice to be coming to the end of a successful financial year. In terms of lunch reports, we continue, to have an operating profit in the month of April, despite it being a month with a holiday, so only 16 operating days, so a little bit smaller of an operating profit for the month than some of the other months that have 20 or 21 days, but still profitable for the year. A profit of $4,569.58, which includes the salaries that are encumbered for summer pays. So everything is in good shape there. So a good year of operations in terms of food service. There's no budget transfers this month. I plan on doing those in either June or July, as everything really comes into focus and it's clear where precisely we stand as we close out the year. But it's been a good year, and we accomplished a lot in terms of the reduction in assessments, et cetera, and still have managed to balance our budget nicely. So all good news there.
Thank you.
Yes, and I would like to thank you for the yellow sheet you provide us. It makes it so much easier to read through the rest of
Oh, you're welcome.
the documents that we have. And I do have one thing I would like to note, and that is on the warrant that we just signed. Used to be past practice that teachers, for buying supplies, would be limited to a certain lower dollar value, like $50 or $100, when they asked for a reimbursement. And if they needed to spend more, they would have to get a purchase order first. And so I was a little bit surprised to see $600 going to a teacher for supplies he purchased from Amazon. I know in the past I had to find used copies of books wherever I could get them, from thrift books or Abe books. But I always made sure to get permission before I did that. And Jordan did say that there was some negotiation about the amount.
Yeah, and I apologize, I wasn't clear on the one point. Is you definitely have to get permission in advance. So although the educator was reimbursed for $600, there was a purchase order in place prior to that. So we discussed that in advance, and so it wasn't, if on the other hand, someone goes out and just buys stuff, that isn't permissible even at a small dollar amount. So that should, unfortunately, would be non-reimbursable. So everything should have prior approval through a purchase order. It's just the purchase order instead of saying a vendor like Amazon says the teacher's name. So there was definitely a purchase order in place. I should have been clear about that. So those protocols were followed, but I do agree with you, and I think Patricia emphasizes this as well. We would always prefer to buy through the existing channels for a variety of reasons, but one of them is just not having our educators out money and waiting, even if sometimes
Sure.
that means paying more for the product that you know, you know, educators are often very committed to getting exactly what they want for the best of the students. So sometimes they say, I have to get it at Amazon. So we try to,
Yeah.
you know, kind of walk a fine line of generally saying, hey, let's just go through school specialty and approved vendor. But occasionally it's just,
Yeah.
and David made a compelling argument for why this was the case. But you're correct. And generally we don't want people using their money and waiting on a reimbursement. We certainly prefer to just deal with the vendor directly. So very good
Yep.
points. Thank you.
Well, thank you for explaining it. And I was really happy to see that the lunch enrollment at Pioneer is 83%. Something
Yeah.
good is happening.
We have
Salad bar.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. And our food service team here, you know, I mean, it's important probably to note also, they know the taste, right? We have parents of 5 students are part of our staff here at the middle high
Oh.
school, so they know how to get these kids to eat. So that it's wonderful, which is not easy. I might.
No.
I have to say, the lunch that was served on the day of the
Oh,
open
the
house,
Ogden.
that was, it was
great.
very good.
It was really
And,
nice.
Yeah, it was yeah, it was a very nice spread, and it was tasty. So I think it's a good representation of what the kids get to eat. I think that's explains a little bit of it too. So, great. All right. So, chair report. I want to wish all of our educators a happy Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you. Thank you for everything that you do and
Yes, yes.
all the ways that you show up every day. It really makes a difference, and we appreciate it. I also just want to give a little plug. Yesterday was School Nurses Day, so National
Happy School Nurses Day, Chair Beth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good.
Had a very cute card from a student who she'd made it out of 2 pieces of paper that were taped together with Band-Aids. It was very creative.
I love
That's
that.
very cute. So
Sweet.
And I also just want to let people know that if you probably have already seen the emails, but our budget has passed in the 2 towns that have already had their town meetings. So there'll be Northfield and Bernardston. Leiden's town meeting is on June 3rd. So fingers crossed. And just a thank you to the citizens for their support of the schools. I truly believe that schools are an investment in our future, and we appreciate that support from our town members. And just a heads up, at our next meeting, you'll be receiving the materials and instructions for the superintendent's evaluation that will be in June. So you'll have those documents to fill out, and we'll be asking for somewhat of a quick turnaround, so we'll be able to have the summary ready at our June 6th meeting.
Okay.
All right, superintendent's report.
All righty, thank you. First, I want to make clear, in case folks didn't remember, Jordan mentioned that there were no transfers this month. There were last month. What happens to the transfers? Our fiscal overseer, Cami Lamica, gets a copy when you have voted to approve transfers. She reviews them. She then, if she recommends them, and she has recommended them on every occasion, sends them to the acting commissioner of education, and his office reviews them. And yesterday, Desi Staffer sent us the commissioner's approval. So every time you approve transfers, it very transparently goes to our fiscal overseer, and then if she recommends them, it goes to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, which is a step most districts don't have to follow, correct? And then they send us a copy, and that is of the commissioner's approval. So I want to make sure you know that. So much has been happening. Our seniors went off to Boston. Cute as little buttons when they were getting in the bus there. We have some good pictures of that. I got pictures of the kids at Fenway Park. It seems like it was a really fun, no drama trip.
Nice.
Speaking of no drama, the middle school dance, there were no tears. Great participation, cute. The teachers do such a nice job with the kids. They decorate the cafeteria. The prom, I got pictures of kids dancing, and I did talk to one senior who said it was really good. People weren't trying to be cool. They were actually dancing. So
Love it.
go. We had our big Ox Gym reopening event and community block party resource fair. And I'm thinking, if this is a fast meeting, anyone who would like, I'll take you on the 3-minute tour.
Yes.
We'll go walk and see the skateboard ramp, which is 95. It is so cool. It is so cool. And then we can walk and see the Ox Gym. As Raina mentioned, it was a nice event, and our food services put on a spread that was great. And there's going to be a... Oh, I also want to clarify something that was discussed last meeting about the Student Advisory Council to the school committee. So there were elections, the school committee there were elections last fall, and kids were, elected to that committee. So I didn't want you to think that we hadn't carried out that responsibility. We most certainly did. So if you would like here to turn your attention to that screen, and I will share my screen with the meeting. Can't share my screen, but I can probably share a window. Okie dokie. So there's been an interest in data. So this is an interesting one. DESE just a week and a half ago put out their 2023 high school outcomes reports. So I'm just going to give you quick snippets. So this is the 4-year high school graduation rate as of 2023. And these will go into the packets that get posted online. There's a link down below. You can click and find the data yourself. But there we are, within 1/10 of a percentage point of Frontier and Tech. So that's for 2023. So this is really interesting. This is what DESE said were our high school dropout rates. We're in the middle with a 3.4. I wondered about it. And so I asked our data manager, the wonderful Dottie Bocon, and sure enough, DESE had the numbers wrong. This is what it is.
Oh.
So she has contacted DESE. Straight up, we had our kids coded correctly. She had evidence that we had coded our kids correctly. And this stuff happens. They're crunching a gazillion numbers there. But I share this not only because these are good, this is okay. We can always do better, but we're in the middle of the pack. We're up in the top end or in the middle of the pack on many measures. But the state makes mistakes, as we all do sometimes. So a bit of a cautionary note there. And then to make everybody happy, Renee Keir, sitting at the table, and other teachers have been part of this Playful Learning Institute. This is from BES pre-K teacher, Tiffany Thomas. And Tiffany and Renee's kids head out back. And if you have not had the joy in your life of watching Tiffany and Renee's young students run outside for recess and start grabbing 2x4s and 5-gallon buckets and car tires, Brian Keir's, it makes one happy because it is what children are supposed to do, play with stuff and make stuff. So they're studying seeds and flowers, and those are actual seeds that they're putting on there. So they're getting seeds out of fruits and vegetables.
Oh, that's great.
So making Sharpie drawings and then filling them in with watercolor. Dissecting plants that's a light table on the right, where you can, there's a nice bright but not glaring light that comes through a translucent piece of plexiglass. So you can see aspects of objects that you might not be able to see otherwise. In the block area, thinking about gardens. Flower shop in the dress-up area, or creative, what would you call it? Dramatic play. Parts of a plant, so a little scientific labeling. Range of media. Cutting grass with scissors and digging for bugs.
Love it.
Right?
That's great.
Aww. That's my girl.
I was like,
Who is this?
Jackie.
Oh.
Jackie.
Hey, no, really? Yay.
Jackie girl.
Oh, and she's got a J with her little flower things.
Oh,
Ah.
she's so
dandelion soup in the water table.
Nice. Dandelions are actually very nutritious.
Yes, they are.
Oh, and there's their mural. There you
Oh, I
go.
love that.
So this is some of the wonderful work that you are leading and supporting school committee, right? Thank you, Mrs. Keir, for participating in the Playful Learning Institute this year. Thank you, Tiffany Thomas. And that is the end of my report.
Excellent. Great.
Love it.
So I will entertain a motion to move on to executive session.
So moved.
All right. I'll read off pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy session in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, our school committee recording secretary. Sections 22F and G for approval of executive session minutes for 3/21/24 and 4/11/24, and we will be returning to open session. All right.
You have to do it again.
Do we have a motion? Oh,
So
okay,
moved.
Gretchen, okay, Gretchen moved and Michelle second. All right, go ahead, Melissa, you want to start off the,
Melissa Gary, yes?
Jennifer Coffin, yes.
Michelle Girusso, yes. Karen O'Neill, yes.
great,
Gretchen Kelton, yes.
great, and Steve said yes, and Raina Dasty, yes. All right.
Well, thank you. We'll see you shortly. Toodaloo.
Thank you. All right, welcome back to open session. Moving on, we have our annual hire letter for our recording secretary, Ann Harding. Let me read the amended, should I change this date to tonight?
Yeah, I would change it to tonight.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. So the amended letter would read, the school committee voted at the May 9th, 2024 meeting to appoint you as the recording secretary for the 2024-25 fiscal year. The stipend for this position is $120 per meeting. Please submit a bill for payment. Sincerely, Raina Dastu, Chair of the Pioneer Valley Regional School Committee. So I would like a motion to accept the amended hire letter.
So moved.
Second.
Great. All right, and we'll start the voting.
Melissa Gary, yes.
Jennifer Coffin, yes.
Michelle Geruso, yes.
Karen O'Neill, yes.
Gretchen Kelton, yes.
Go ahead, Steve. You there?
Steve Martin, yes.
Great, thank you. And Raina Dastu, yes. So that passes unanimously.
Super.
Thank you, Anne. All right. So PVRS Program of Studies.
Can you do it? You want me to start it?
Sure.
Okay. We are bringing to you for approval the 2024-25 Program of Studies for the high school. This is not a 7 through 12 document, but a 9 through 12 document. The only changes that we are bringing forward are the addition of 3 new courses, and I do need to say that current school committee policy allows me to approve new courses as long as they are not completely new, something that we've never done before. If they're a substantial change, then I need to bring it to you, but as you'll see, all 3 of these are similar to existing courses. And then a question of the pause that you approved a year and a half, 2 years ago on the portfolio as a graduation requirement. So I'll briefly tell you or tell the public about the 3 courses that we have added. That is intermediate woodshop. Woodshop has been so popular, and we are adding an intermediate course. This course will allow students to begin using some of the larger equipment. And yes, of course, we have worked with our insurance company and our attorney on that. The insurance company is so supportive of our work. When we went to them saying, you know, we'd like to build an indoor skateboard ramp, they were enthusiastic about it. Now, there's a lengthy list of safety requirements, but they're really supportive of interesting student learning experiences, and we appreciate that. Applied ecology and environmental fieldwork. This course was proposed by our science teacher, Julie Dubriel. She teaches AP Environmental Science. She has many years of experience, and I think I've spoken with you. It turns out that, sadly, the AP Environmental Science course does not allow for lots of time outside if the goal is to have students do really well on the exam. So Julie has stepped forward and said, let's create another advanced class that can be part of our innovation career pathway in environmental science. We needed to add another advanced class, and this class will get kids outside to do applied fieldwork in ecology. I'll just say the 3rd one, Karen, and then maybe, is that okay?
No, I wanted to talk about this course just briefly. I'm happy to see that she includes Massachusetts Envirothon. It's been absent from Pioneer, I think, since Penny Betzold left. And for 18 years that I was here, I was one of the coaches for Mass Envirothon. And it is a wonderful program. So I'm glad to see it there again.
Good. I am glad to hear that. I want Math Olympiad. Did we ever do Math Olympiads here? Anyone ever do Math Olympiad? I'd love to get Math Olympiad going. Okay. Advanced placement chemistry. We have a successful chemistry program. We'd like to add another advanced course, advanced placement chemistry. The teacher for this, along with David Boucher in math, would be going up to the AP teacher camp this summer in St. Johnsbury, Vermont. And then the portfolio requirement, the Teaching and Learning Subcommittee has discussed this several times, most recently at 5 o'clock today. Karen, will you take it over?
Sure. And we would like to make the following recommendation or motion for your consideration. We would like to continue the pause of the portfolio as a graduation requirement for the school year 24-25, with the understanding that the new PVRS principal will meet with the Teaching and Learning Subcommittee and the Director of Teaching and Learning to begin over the summer a review and evaluation of graduation requirements. That was a motion.
And am I correct, that motion would include approval of the program of studies for next year? With that?
Oh, okay.
With that.
Yes.
Second.
Great. I think that sounds like a great idea. And with a new principal coming in, it sounds like a good opportunity to take a close look at what the requirements are and try to build a.
And we would
strong
start on that
program.
over the summer.
Yep.
Yep.
That's great. All right. Any further discussion? I also just want to say about the proposed courses. They sound fabulous. Can I sign up?
Yeah, right.
I'd love to take
I
that.
just want to ask a little question, I'm sorry, about the portfolio. So I'm trying to frame my question. So if I was a sophomore last year, no, how am I going to say this? I'm trying to figure out where you're going to start.
Freshman or 8th grade.
If it starts.
If it starts.
Yeah.
If it starts.
It's
That's my
would
question.
be
You can't
phased in.
start.
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
definitely not.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But it
because
is
I wouldn't want to.
a broader discussion. You know, is this something we want to continue as it was, or modify it, or switch out something else?
Yeah, I understand that. It's just where you're going to start it in the course of a child.
Oh, right.
I have a
Student,
question
rather.
about teacher voices. I
Right.
didn't hear any teachers mentioned
Well,
in your grouping
Yeah.
talking about it this summer.
not this summer, but as we get underway, we will be
Yeah, because if it-
including other stakeholders, including students.
Okay. I'm just curious, curious because the principal will be brand new and have no historical knowledge.
Yeah.
And so even with our director of teaching and learning, again, no historical knowledge. So to determine this portfolio on whether it continues, how it continues, I would expect teachers to be part of that conversation
Yeah,
right from
certainly.
the beginning. But
And,
that,
and I do have historical knowledge, having been here for the first 2 years of its implementation.
right,
And so I know what drove it. I know
yeah.
what was required and so on. So I think for the initial meeting, it's okay. But yes, I think the two individuals that we're going to meet with, hopefully earlier in the summer, midsummer, will be able to use their professional experience to let us know who the suggestion for the makeup going forward.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. And I'd also just want to add about the courses. I really like the idea of, in the descriptions, that at least the woodshop and the ecology classes are going to be using our natural resources and
Yes.
getting out into the forests. I love the idea of using found wood and sustainably harvested wood in the woodshop. I think that's a fabulous idea. So.
And we met with John Lepore, I know you have to vote. We've met with John Lepore a couple times recently about our forest management plan and when we get there to the felling of trees for use in our program.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh,
It's exciting.
Very good.
All right. All right. If there's no further discussion, we'll start the voting.
Melissa Gary, yes.
Jennifer Coffin, yes.
Michelle Giarrusso, yes.
Karen O'Neill, yes.
Gretchen Calton, yes.
Stephen Martin, yes.
Great, thank you. And Raina Dastu, yes. So that passes unanimously. Great.
Thank you.
All right. School choice seats.
We came to you 2 meetings ago, I think. We've gathered more information, and there has been a change. So we had previously recommended no new seats at NES a number of new seats, many new seats here at Pioneer. We continue to say, this admin team, when I say we, the administrative team now actually makes that recommendation. No new seats at NES, I think 30 seats here. We brought up 3 grades previously at Bernardston Elementary where maybe add seats after looking more carefully at the current student population and our projected numbers for next year. We are no longer recommending consideration of new seats in either kindergarten or grade 6. In grade 6, it is straight up student need of the existing group in 5th grade. Kindergarten, we've got 2 more kids on our list, 2 more resident students. That gets us gets us to 21. We surveyed families, as you know. There are 2 current school choice families who had hoped to get seats for their kindergarten, incoming kindergarten students. We have spoken with both families and let them know that the admin team is not recommending to school committee that you add new seats, and we have been very clear. You make the decision, we are sharing our recommendation. So that is where admin team landed.
Do you have, so I'm curious about grade 3 and at BES and what the numbers.
Yep, they are, if we go to, they're small. They're, I want to say 15, 16, next year, 24, 14, 15 without new seats. So they could be, if we got, they would be 16 and 17, which is a comfortable size.
And do we have any knowledge of families who've reached out for that grade?
Yes.
At this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Families who are not current school choice families.
Correct.
Yes, we have interest. Including a family that wants to follow Mrs. Burstein.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm kidding. I was gonna say, like, no.
That's great.
That is.
Yeah, the arguments to not open up the school seats have been really compelling, also with the numbers and the need. And so I really wanted to give, if we are opening up seats, I want to give that a lot of thought, to do that. So that's why I was asking the numbers, if there were already interested families, So I will make a motion to approve the new school choice seats for 2024-2025 school year as presented below. You want me to read them all out? Okay. So at BES, grade 3, 4 seats. At PVRS, grade 7, 5 seats. Grade 8, 5 seats. Grade 9, 10 seats. Grade 10, 10 seats. Grade 11, 10 seats, for a total of 44.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Go ahead.
Melissa Gary, yes.
Jennifer Coffin, yes.
Michelle Jeruso, yes.
Karen O'Neill, yes.
Gretchen Kelton, yes.
Stephen Martin, yes.
Thanks. And Raina Dastu, yes. So that passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Request for disposal of surplus property.
They might fetch a pretty penny someday. There are a number of textbooks over there that have the last name O'Neill written in
I was wondering, when I was
on
looking
the
through this, I'm
edges.
like, I wonder if she went through memory lane.
There are.
Oh, they
We
were.
would allow, maybe the motion, if it happens, should be amended to allow Mrs. O'Neill to go in and gather some mementos. So Mrs. Dubriel is cleaning up with the help of a teaching assistant student. This is a representative sample of books, but she's got more books coming, so I hope I said several hundred. I think this is something like 150 books here, but I wanted to leave room for there to be more, because they haven't gone through all the closets.
Wow.
Wow, the building's going to be pretty light to get rid of all this textbooks.
And,
A lot more
Pull the
storage
books
space.
away. What are we doing with them? We can't.
yeah,
Nobody at all
nobody
anywhere
wants
ever
them.
can use
So
them.
there are book resellers. I asked Julie her thoughts. She said her experience discarding science textbooks is that it's hard to have booksellers. They can be recycled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can bring
Fair
them
enough.
to that place in Greenfield.
We can,
They'll take
yeah, they
anything.
won't be put in the
Yeah.
trash.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
good.
I like the removal versus disposal.
brought town
Makes me
books
feel
there.
better.
Okay.
It's okay, it's
Okay.
fine.
And you see there's a lot of anatomy books here, and basic anatomy is not changed a whole lot. The physiology has, but not the anatomy. Yeah. And most of these were not purchased, like the ones that are one copy or so, they were like examination copies that I got when I went to conferences.
I will motion to approve the disposal of outdated science textbooks at Pioneer Valley Regional School.
I will second that.
Great.
Melissa Gary, yes?
Jennifer Coffin, yes?
Michelle Geruso, yes?
Karen O'Neill, yes.
Gretchen Felton, yes.
Stephen Martin, yes.
And Raina Dasty, yes. Great, so that passes unanimously. I just want to note, I mean, 1970, the dates of some of these, 1976,
I know.
1983,
That wasn't me.
84.
Probably the same one, right?
You know, there's a culture,
have
many of you know, in public, Renee, I don't know, in public school where we hang on to stuff because we don't know if we'll get something in the future.
Yeah, I know, it's true, it's true.
And so we,
Mhm.
okay, yep.
But it's hard to part with, and it's hard to part with books, to Jennifer's point, like,
Yeah.
but it's time.
Yeah.
I mean, they're almost as old as me, some of them. All right.
The
I
wrong-
said, no, I
This is the
I had
wrong
same
enrollment
one.
report.
Oh, I think,
Oh,
did we do
I'm so
enrollment
sorry.
last time?
I
Oh,
can put it
we
up on this,
have,
I'm so sorry, I didn't see.
And,
Oh.
yeah.
I'm so sorry because
This
we're.
was not the one in the electronic packet. The
Oh,
one in the
good.
electronic packet, I believe, was
Oh,
correct, if
okay.
we are down 2 students.
We're down 2 students.
Yeah.
and,
Okay, so that, in the
yeah.
electronic
Okay,
packet, it was
and-
correct.
Okay, great. And I can tell you, those
Yeah,
2 students come back in September. This is a family that has a cyclical lifestyle, is what I will call it. And they go and they come back.
Nice.
So those are,
Okay.
that's the
great. All right.
story there.
Awesome.
Okay, I apologize for the paper mistake. Okay, Steph.
Personnel update.
Okay, so we are in hiring season. We are in the season where folks are letting us know if they're staying, coming, going, what is happening. I'd like to thank my colleague to my left, because he is actually leading hiring searches here in this building right now. So our jack of all trades, our Jordan of all trades is adding
Good for
HR
him.
to it. I'm not sure what to say. Tell me what questions you
The
have.
2 that are not listed as posted, math teacher and social studies teacher,
Oh,
middle
math
school.
teacher, wait. Do we?
Yeah, it just got posted. so-
Yeah, okay.
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 So it's currently.
And social studies, they're already interviewing. So that's a mistake also, sorry.
And special ed teacher, is Will leaving us?
Yes, he left. We are sad. I can't, it's,
Mm.
he's going to walk to work a couple blocks from where he lives. You know,
I
We can't compete with
understand.
that.
no, it's,
Yeah.
we are sad, and he left saying he really enjoyed being, you know.
Mhm.
So next meeting, there will be a number of changes on the next.
And we have one retirement on this list, right?
We do.
Susan?
Susan Fisher, that should have a little
Oh.
asterisk, my bad. Susan Fisher is retiring.
We wish her well.
And Kate Baylog is retiring.
Oh,
And Kate Baylog, that position has been reconfigured, and I have the hiring packet to sign. It has been hired. But, so we'll tell you who it is next time.
Okay.
great. Perfect. All right. So any other business? I don't,
Anybody wants to go take a quick walk to the Ox Gym after you adjourn, I'll walk you down.
yes.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Our upcoming meetings, we have policy 516, and I believe 514 will be posted tomorrow morning for the
Collective bargaining
collective
personnel.
bargaining, I was going to say negotiations, but yes, collective bargaining personnel. And they are also meeting on May 22nd. Our next full committee meeting is May 23rd. All right, now I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Excellent.
I'll second.
All right, great. Go ahead.
Melissa Gary, yes?
Jennifer Coffin, yes.
Michelle Drurusso, yes.
Karen O'Neill, yes.
Gretchen Carlton, yes.
Stephen Martin, yes.
And Raina Dastu, yes. So thank you, everyone.
right.
7:12.